watched it shine down on me. I'm gonna spread my wings, yeah, and I'm gonna tell all I see. These happy feelings, feel that happy feeling. I'll spread them all.
Hello, welcome to CLTV. This is Caribbean Life TV, and I am your host. I am the mayor of the city of Stone Mountain, and today what we have is real talk. Now, we have some brilliance here today. I have two beautiful and fabulous, not only that, but they're educated, and they're going to tell us how to have a better life. And if you were listening, we changed the tune of our song today to Happy Feelings. And the reason why we did that is because we want to make sure that today, when you finish watching this CLTV Real Talk, that you'll have some great and happy feelings. And that is our motivation for today. So I'm going to introduce you to these two fabulous women who I find so fascinating. And I hope today, after this show, that you all will be feeling good, looking good, and have a new leaf on life. So we're going to start off with Miss D. Wicks. Tell us a little about yourself, Miss D.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jones. It's an honor and a privilege to be here today. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Dorinda Wicker, better known as D. I am a certified peer specialist with a master's degree. And part of what I do is I own a 501c3 nonprofit. We're a startup company where we provide mental health services to our disenfranchised individuals.
Okay, that's kind of heavy duty because you have to make people have those happy feelings, right? Yeah, you can't even sing the song. You have to do the work, right? Okay, and so we have another fantastic guest, and I just want you to introduce yourself.
Hello, and Dr. Jones, thank you so much. It's an absolute delight to be with you and to be here to share what I do. So I am a registered nurse of 42 years.
Oh, my goodness. That's 2 retirement checks.
And always loved nursing, but I recognize that what's going on in medicine nowadays is that people are just being fed the incorrect information in terms of their health. And Americans are just sicker and sicker and sicker. And what I do is I teach people how to reverse chronic illnesses through coaching them to eat the correct diet, not the standard American diet, whole foods. And I've opened a small practice in Tucker, Georgia, holistic practice in Tucker, Georgia, where I provide IV hydration, which is vitamin infusion directly into your veins because Americans, again, are nutrient and vitamin deficient. We do stem cell activation. We have a technology that scans your body for various things, 197 biomarkers in males, 198 in females. And out of that report, it actually will recommend what it is that your body is lacking or root cause of disease. We provide high-quality plant-based vitamins and supplements, and we have several detox services and products that we use. And I'm also a water tester.
Oh, my goodness. Now, that is going to be very interesting about the water testing. You do so much. I mean, it's totally amazing. And one of the things you said is the Americans. Let's talk about that.
Yes. So the standard American diet, and every year it gets worse and worse and worse, where our diet are just filled with processed foods. And it is starting in our schools, where when you look at the school lunches, over 90% of the foods that are given to our children are processed foods. And so we have 7- and 8-year-olds that are developing disease such as fatty liver disease, diabetes, and all of that. So some of the things that we can do, or what I'm passionate about, is teaching people how to eat whole foods that can heal their bodies. Um, Disease is just taking over so many people. We are seeing as young as 34-year-olds. I just encountered a 34-year-old who has developed Alzheimer's, and that's a direct result of metabolic dysfunction, direct result of poor diet, and deficiency in our foods. So those are some of the things that I do, and I teach people how to reverse chronic illnesses.
Fantastic. Now, Miss D, now she's talked about the holistic and the food, and I know that she's working on the body and that you're working on the mind. So how can you two pair together to get the whole person?
Absolutely, absolutely. Mind, body, soul, and spirit. I love what you said about the diet and how it affects different aspects of the body. And we know that a healthy diet plays a major factor in our mental health. Even our kids in school, they have done research where the children that don't eat breakfast before they come to school are the ones that have the hardest times in focus and concentration in the classroom. So that is a part of one of the programs that we have, is maintaining a healthy diet in order to give our brain the food that it needs to function and to concentrate and focus.
And I understand when you say that the children do not have a healthy diet, but you know, we live in the fast lane in America. I mean, you're on the go. You know, parents are stuck in traffic. The children have to catch the bus. When you get to school, you have this lunch. So how do you kind of redirect parenting in order for them to give the right food? And, you know, we're talking about the mental and the physical. So how do you redirect a parent? And it's hard to be a parent, especially if you're a single mother, especially if you have to work to take care of the family on your own. So what can you say to that parent who have to juggle so many things in their life? And, you know, and healthy food, sometimes just having food is healthy to a parent who's struggling.
I definitely understand that, Dr. Jones. I was a single mother of two. I have two adult children now, and both of my girls were latchkey kids, is what we call them. You know, they were able to walk themselves home from school and let themselves in because I had to work 2 and 3 jobs. So one of the ways that I was able to enforce as healthy as I could within a diet is meal preps. And they can be foods that are easier to cook, like oatmeal and fruits and vegetables, and try to stay away from the processed foods, preparing dinner that can last for 1 to 2 days. You know, we survived off of leftovers. And then making those healthy meals before I go to work and make sure that the kids have healthy meals for dinner. So there are ways I would encourage meal prepping and maybe cooking healthy dinners that can last a couple of days.
Okay, and but good healthy foods,
Good,
because
healthy.
children are, you know, you go to school, and I have taught in the school system, and the lunches are a lot to be desired.
Yes.
It's not proportionate, you know, and I'm a stickler for having the right foods to pair. I'm a stickler for that. And, you know, they might have a pizza and broccoli. That's for lunch. And so you can't control that. And so you don't always have parents who can do that prep. And sometimes you got parents who is 1.5 jobs
Right.
or 2.5 jobs. So do we get the parent to work on the parent first, or do we work on the children? So, okay, go ahead.
So from firsthand experience, I actually became a single mom when my youngest was 3.5 years old. And I heard a program on the TV that spoke to once a month cooking. And it did 2 things for us. we were able to shop once a month. I was able to shop once a month. And what I did on that one day off that I had was I shopped early in the morning and I cooked all day long. So my children always had something healthy to eat. I made I was a nurse. I'm a nurse, so I was able to work the night shift, get home early, make them breakfast, a healthy breakfast every morning. And I was able to actually, they were very active kids. They were in soccer and swimming and different music lessons and all of that. So I would take a little nap when they were at school, and I would actually pack their dinners when I picked them up from school. So we would tailgate and they would go swimming or go soccer or whatever. And I'm telling you, my kids were like 14 and 15 before they even know anything about fast food. So it can be done.
Okay.
But it takes a lot of discipline and practice. I remember I actually did not even have the money. I borrowed $350 at the time to buy a freezer. And I did that for their entire time that they were with me, cooking once a month. So it can be done. So you buy all of your vegetables, all of your meats, and you just cook everything on one day. So in the evening, you're making up a quick salad, which is like a green salad or something like that, and then everything else is, already done. So you take that out in the morning when you get home, and when you're ready to prepare it or feed the family, then you just stick it in the microwave or the oven.
Okay. But
And my children ate well, and they are adults now. My youngest is 32 years old, and they all meal prep and meal plan.
I think that I need to follow that children's guidance, meal prepping
Yes.
for the month.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So now we just kind of touched the surface of what we need to do to have a healthy mind and a healthy body. So now tell me what it is exactly what you do, because we're peeling off layers like this onion. And so we just want to keep peeling off layers. And so by the time we finish today, we're going to have to change some hearts and minds. So, okay, so we done got to the foodie.
Okay.
So now we're gonna move on to the next level. So go ahead, tell us. Move on.
All right, moving right
see, she done talked about Americans now. So I got to get my weapon right. Bring it on, Dee.
We provide restoratives and preventive services. The restorative services are for our immediate recovery services that are needed, and our preventive services are for the long-term personal growth or personal well-being of the individuals that we serve. And both of the services attest to bringing about the emotional well-being, the long-term. I touched on, just to kind of backtrack a little while we were talking about life skills. And when I was coming up, we were different kind of parents than the parents of today.
Such as?
Such as life skills. And when I was coming up in high school, we had classes that were home ed class. We were able to cook. They taught us how to cook in class.
And that's no longer in the schools?
That is no longer in the schools. And so different life skills like that. So, and then it promotes a longer overall well-being. So these are some of the things that we bring to try to not reinvent the wheel or even go back, because we know now we're living in a time of technology, and everything is, like you said, is moving fast. However, some of those foundations that were laid in us coming up are still strong foundations and teaching us how to do the necessary things that we need to do.
So how do you teach your child? I was in home ec too, and I still make a few of the little dishes from home ec. I love to do the fondue. People are laughing at me like, what's a fondue? but in home ec, you had to do the fondue, for those of you who know what fondue is. So with the life of the microwave, which was perceived to be dangerous, cancerous, from those of us who had grandparents who had never owned the microwave. And so we have surpassed the microwave, and so now into the air fryer. You know, you really don't have to turn on your oven
Instapot.
at all. Yeah, Instapots, the noodles, all of that. So how do you get them back? We're talking about just getting not so much the children because they're led by the parents. And so the parents are not going to be cooking stews all day on Saturday. I know my mom would get up early on Sunday morning and put the meat on for the greens. If children even know what collard greens are these days. So, but we talked about the physical, but there's something that's lacking in the mental and the lifestyle of adults today. And this is all over the world. Because, you know, every country now, you have a working families. It's not like, you know, well, mom stay at home, daddy go to work, and everything is done. So what is the mental attitude of people now who's having to think healthy? That's very difficult to think healthy, okay? And it's very expensive to eat healthy. So how do you change, really kind of get deep, do a deep dive into how do we change, you know, today's living for us to live longer? And you know, as of COVID, people living for today, they're not living for tomorrow. And so here we go again. We have another problem because people have learned 2 years ago that I can die any day, any moment. And so people are living for the moment. So how do we get back to family values, family living healthy? How do we get back to what you two do?
Yeah. So I think that again, Americans are dumbed down. Like you just said, that eating healthy is expensive. And I actually want to reverse that. So I eat out very rarely. And when I do, my husband and I will pay $70 or $80 for a meal. Isn't that the truth?
How many
when you
people?
go out,
How many people are you guys? What are you all eating?
$70 or $80 can buy groceries, which would include breakfast, lunch, and dinner for myself and my husband. So that's another, you know, where we really need to change our paradigm. And we need to slow down. That's one of the things I teach my clients.
Okay, so slowing down.
Decompress.
Okay, and how do they decompress? Because people out here don't understand.
Right, so what I'm explaining. So decompress. Saturday morning, you're going to sleep in. And sleep in mean that a lot of people are getting up at 4, 5, and 6 o'clock to rush off to work.
No, we're texting at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
No, we're not going to work. We're texting.
So you can sleep an extra hour or two because sleep is extremely important. Sleep hygiene is extremely important for mental health. And get up, have a list, go to the grocery store or the farmer's market preferably, and pick out your fresh fruit, vegetables, nice cuts of meat and fish. And you're spending anywhere from 120 to 150 for a family of 4, and you can eat very well.
Are we talking about 150 a week?
A week.
Okay.
For instance, a family of 4.
So
if I
that's
spend
broken down
150,
to $40. That's
right.
broken down to $40
Yes.
a week, and then that's broken down to another 7.5, $7.50 a day.
So let's get it right that eating healthy is actually cheaper than eating out.
Okay.
A McDonald's meal, can anyone tell me? Because I don't eat McDonald's. But a McDonald's meal can cost you like $15, which is like a burger, fries, and a drink. $15.
Okay.
So that's a lot of money. And that's just, I've actually just left the hospital only 3 months ago. And I see nurses ordering in Uber Eats. So they'll buy a meal for $30 and then they pay $15 to get it delivered. That's $45 for a meal. So the behaviors that are happening, it's actually higher priced, and then you're ending up being metabolically dysfunction. You know, you're developing high cholesterol and disease and joint pain and all of that at a rapid rate. They're now saying over 60% of Americans are pre-diabetic or diabetic.
Okay,
So,
I am a
you know,
diabetic.
yeah, so things like
But,
that, yeah.
but let me say, it has been a challenge, but I didn't get diabetic by eating unhealthy foods. So I got diabetics because of stress. My mother and father both was in one room, two beds, and they were in hospice, dying at the same time. And the stress of that led to, another chronic illness that led to diabetes. And so people are like, how did you get diabetes? And so they always are thinking that that it comes from food, and mine came from stress. Can you imagine your two loved ones holding hands but dying at the same time? So I'm going to bring this question to you:
Yes.
how you deal with something like that. Like I said, I developed diabetes because it was a progressive. The stress, taking something for the stress, and with the medication that I was taking for stress, gives you diabetes. There was no disclaimer on it. Well, it was a class action lawsuit, of course. But how do you deal with what people are going through in life, emotional, the losses of loved ones, stressors on the job, trying to raise children, being a single parent? This is not like grandmother them. We live in a new day, a new world. So being a peer specialist, how can they cope with that? Tell us some coping skills, one or two coping skills that we can get through being stressed out and go home and cook a meal.
I first want to acknowledge that it's not easy. It's not easy. And going back to not eating healthy, what contributes to that is your relationship with yourself, that self-compassion and that self-care and that self-love. Because oftentimes, I remember times when I didn't know where my next meal was coming from. And I was so wrapped up in the stress of it all that I didn't eat properly. And there were times when I didn't feed my children properly because I was in this cycle of depression and anxiety and the trauma of it all, especially during COVID and after COVID. So what I would encourage someone to do is, I don't know if I may speak freely, if
Absolutely.
your relationship with God. I know as a peer specialist, my relationship with God gave me the outlet and the ability to plug into a source where I can draw strength from. And then ultimately, through that and understanding the love of God, I was able to love myself and see myself as God saw me. So I would, if I'm talking to a peer specialist, I would say start with your relationship with God or your relationship with your higher power, and then start with your relationship with yourself. Because if we have that self-care and that self-love there for ourselves, we're going to do whatever steps that we need to take to have a holistic or live a life of well-being and personal growth.
Okay, that is
Amen to
awesome.
that.
Yes. And so she's told us from her profession how she would handle it. Now, tell me from what you do. You said you do something with water. That is called what is that called again?
With water?
IV.
Yeah.
IV hydration.
IV hydration. So tell us a little about some of the techniques that you use in your office to help us to be better mentally, spiritually,
So
and
just wanted to
holistically.
piggyback on what she said, that connection to the divine is so, so important. And in our community of this fast-paced and so many single moms and so many stressors, and even with your parents, it is so, so important to have community. Studies have shown that when people live in communities, that they manage stressors and stuff that come at them much better than when they're by themselves
Okay,
trying
and
to
now
navigate.
explain communities because we're not talking about subdivisions.
No, we're not
Because
talking about,
people who
no.
don't understand.
We're talking about a sisterhood. We're talking about
Okay.
friendship. We're talking about your church family.
Yes.
Get in some kind of small group. If you're a single mom, try to get to know your neighbors so they can support you. And talking about stress, as a nurse, I pretty much had enough money to take care of my children, but I didn't have that emotional support. So going out there, trying to get to know my neighbors, connecting with church family, that was how I navigated a lot of my stressors and anxieties and things like that. So it's important to find community, and that's what we need. Friendships is very important. And our mental health specialist here will tell you that friendships or being a part of community, you can navigate stressors much better. But because we have just spoken about the deficiencies that we have in our American diet or our communities, or even if you're eating healthy foods, they're still nutrient deficient. And so, one of the things that I do offer as a service is I do IV hydration, which involves delivering high quality vitamins and supplements directly into the vein. Vitamin B's, vitamin C's, biotin, glutathione, all of that help to prevent disease, keep people sharp. Young people nowadays, they might go out, or even older people, they might go out and get drunk for the holidays or the weekend. And you can actually come for a cocktail to reverse that. We have cocktails for people who have maybe an event coming up, they're speaking or delivering at a conference or something. We have cocktails for executives, for instance. We have cocktails right now, we're promoting that immunity boost, where you're getting an additional boost of vitamin C, for instance, to ward off flus and COVID and all of that kind of stuff.
And so, where would we purchase these cocktails?
So you have to come to the center because it's
Come to the
actually an
center.
IV that's given to you by a drip.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
We
And
also
so hopefully you're not afraid of needles like myself.
no.
Okay. Okay.
We also do stem cell activation, which is cutting edge technology right now, and it's pretty disruptive in the medical space. And I don't think your doctor ever tells you that after the age of 30, your stem cells start to decline. You only have half of your stem cells left, which means that even 30-year-olds are developing chronic disease. They're getting joint pain, and they have asthma, and they have skin conditions, and they have big one, anxiety and depression. 30, 35-year-olds. And that's because the stem cells are going dormant. So one of the things that this technology does, it's just a Band-Aid that you wear that when placed on your skin, activates immediately 4,000 genes in your body. And it activates your body's stem cell to heal itself. So I don't know what's going on in your body. I don't know what's going on in yours. You don't know what's going on in mine. So it actually operates and differently in everybody's body. So for you, it might be joint pain, or you might have high blood pressure or a heart condition. It starts to fix those genes in your body. And it balances the brain. It actually has gotten my daughter out of PTSD. She's had 3 episodes of suicide, which is extremely personal and traumatic to know that, your daughter is going through this. She's gone through a lot of mental health therapy and cutting edge treatments and all kinds of things. And no, it was not able to help her until she actually accidentally got out of it because she had orthopedic surgery. I'd given it to her for the pain and inflammation. And 4 weeks later, it just totally lifted the PTSD. So we do have clinical trials, studies that prove that it does balance the brain. So it actually helps people with Alzheimer's, dementia, all kinds of illnesses. It's just a really fascinating technology. And anyone that's listening, you can actually look at this website, startx39now.com or thisisit.com to get more information. And if you are interested, you can actually reach out to me at Goot Wellness, and we are at 2122 Vistadale Court in Tucker, Georgia, and we'll be more than happy to share the technology and the treatments with you.
Okay, I have one quick question before we go to a commercial. Is this holistic? Because you're saying that it helps with Alzheimer's, and so it helps with other diseases. So is this holistic?
It is
or
holistic.
Has this been proven by the FDA?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It's a patented product by the U.S. government, and it does not interfere with any of your medications. What's in the patch is actually amino acids and crystals. So it is holistic. It does not interfere with any of it doesn't have chemicals or toxins or anything like that in there.
Okay, fantastic. Well, what we're going to do right now, I really hate to go to a commercial, but we really must go to a commercial, ladies.
Yeah.
So we're going to go on to a commercial. When we come back, we're going to talk some more, and we're going to tell you about some exciting things that we're doing here in the city of Stone Mountain.
Give it to me, do it to me, give it to me. Don't stop, don't stop, don't stop, don't stop. Show me the way you make me feel.
Do you like music like this? That's right, I'm asking you. Do you like music like this? Then why have you not been to Sophisticated Saturday as yet? That's right, each and every third Saturday of the month, we call it Sophisticated Saturdays. Where we keep it at? Caribbeanlifetv Studios. 6254 Memorial Drive is the only place to be each and every third Saturday of the month. So if you want to celebrate your birthday, if you just want to come hang out and have some fun with grown people having big fun, Sophisticated Saturdays is the only place to be. It's brought to you by yours truly, DJ Reds, and my boy, Mr. B. Sophisticated Saturdays, every third Saturday of the month, 6254 Memorial Drive is where the grown people go and have good, clean fun. Every third Saturday of the month, man. The way you make me feel, I'm just going to have fun. I'll see you there, Sophisticated Saturdays. I got you. Lawrence Prescott Photography. I'm smiling, I'm laughing because, God, I know what I'm talking about. Lawrence Prescott Photography. That's the only person you need to call when you're ready to take your pictures. You want those pictures to come out right. You want those pictures to last forever. You want your best picture taken? Lawrence Prescott Photography. He does private events, in studio also, and outdoor photography if you need. Photography is what Lawrence Prescott does, and he's really good at it. Trust me. And also, when you want to get that video done, any type of videography production, he got you. He does short films, movies, any type of videos as well. Lawrence Prescott got you at anything that you really need. So make sure you give him a call. His phone number, and I'm going to say it slow for you, it's 404-218-1234. Did you get that? 404-218-1234. Lawrence Prescott Photography. Yo, my brethren, big up.
Hi, we are back, and I'm just having a great time today with these two beautiful women, professional women, African American professional women, just telling us how to live a better life. But I just want to say one thing. Both of you will be coming on Saturday. That's October the 19th. We are having a mental health and a wellness fair in the city of Stone Mountain at 5380 West Mountain Drive, and that's Stone Mountain, Georgia 30083. We're going to have these two lovely young women, and you're going to be talking about, Miss D, you're going to be talking
Mindfulness.
mindfulness, and she's going deep. And I don't know if there's anything else you can tell us.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, you done made bionic people up in here, with all that you do.
Yeah,
And you're going to be talking about the IV.
Well, I'm going to be talking about wellness. And, disease starts in the mitochondria. The disease starts in the minutest cell in your body, which is why we've just been talking about it's so important for us to eat whole foods.
Okay, and
Take the
speaking of
time.
that, we might have to make some changes to this event. I have to call the chef because I asked him to bring healthy food to fix. It's a breakfast, everybody. So come on out. It's a great breakfast. And we're going to have some good healthy food because most people feel like healthy food doesn't taste good.
Yes.
And that's a myth.
Right,
And
it
so
is.
we're going to have a very, very healthy breakfast with things that you like and things that I like. And we're just going to have a panel. We're going to have some vendors there with information. So if you have nothing else to do, and even if you have something to do, cancel it.
Yes.
And come out to this event on Saturday because it's something you don't want to miss. And so we've been talking about mental health. We've been talking about physical health. And we've also kind of honed in on the spiritual.
Yes.
And so people don't like to talk about spiritual health and the spiritual being because they feel like God isn't fun. You know, they feel like that if you change your lifestyle, go to church, that it's so boring. And I myself found the Lord at a young age. My degree is one of them is in theology. And so these are some of the things that we're taught in theology, that we're the body of Christ. And so people forget that, or they don't want to hear, well, I'll get to this after I drink this beer, or if I have this cocktail. And I need you to be specific when you say cocktail. Okay? Because be very specific what type of cocktail that you're talking about, because people who are not there yet don't understand the roadmap to a healthy life. You know, they say if you have a happy wife, you'll have a healthy life. You know, we got to change that a little. Yeah. And so, we're going to talk about the health fair, some of the things that we're going to do. And the breakfast, what would you recommend? Because I'm going to have to call the caterers now. You done blew the whole, everything was set. Now we got to change the whole menu to make sure that we are eating healthy because we want to practice what we preach.
Right.
And so what would you consider a healthy breakfast?
So anything non-processed,
Such as?
so we have eggs that are fresh. That's a good healthy protein that's inexpensive if you're feeding a crowd. And you can have things like field greens. You can have baked potatoes.
For breakfast?
Yes, for
Okay.
breakfast.
Okay, 'cause
So
that's a
instead of
starch.
instead
Okay.
of white potatoes, you can have
Sweet
mixed
potatoes?
sweet potatoes.
Okay.
So they have 3 or 4 different kinds of sweet potatoes that you can have. You can even throw in some seasonal squash in there, and it can be healthy. That's a nice healthy breakfast.
No, I
with
always
s-
thought
with
of
some
those
greens.
as dinners and lunches.
Oh, and
Yeah.
that's another myth.
Okay.
So, for instance, I travel a lot, and when you go to other countries, they have a wide variety of greens on the table. There's vegetables on the table. There's quiche, which has lots of fresh,
I love
grown
quiche.
market vegetables there. Spinach and broccolis and things like that. So, and that's how we eat. We will eat 7 different kinds of breakfasts, 7 days a week. So it's not just eggs.
And what country is this?
So I grew up in Jamaica, and when I was growing up, we got 7 different things for breakfast every day of the week.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So for this morning, I had codfish with vegetables in there. So I had, I don't know if you guys know
breakfast.
fried
Now
for
we're
breakfast.
still on breakfast, right?
Breakfast. So
Okay,
I had
okay.
codfish, and as he said, you can eat it with breadfruit or
Now, what is
green.
breadfruit?
Oh, that's a Caribbean.
Is that
Food.
the
You have to
get it
bread
off of the
that
tree,
you
right?
put a?
Yeah,
Is
it's a
that,
tree.
you
It's
got
a
to get
tree
it off the
fruit.
tree.
Yes.
Is that the bread that you put the patty in
No,
between?
no. Breadfruit from the tree. It's a tree.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it comes
Gotcha.
from the tree.
Okay. Oh,
Or you
okay.
can have it with green bananas, or some people pumpkin, that kind
For
of stuff.
breakfast.
Yes, for breakfast.
And what time would I have to get up to fix this meal?
It doesn't take long. It
It
doesn't
sounds
take
like
long.
a 3 o'clocker.
No, it doesn't take long.
For me.
No. And then, as I said, you actually could prepare several things on the weekend. Like, where are you from, sir? See? Okay, so Yeah,
That was our
There's
producer.
liver and
Yeah.
onions. You can have all
Liv-
kinds.
now the liver and onions, I
Yes.
can,
You
yeah.
can have
Okay.
fish. You can have sardines. It's actually a good quality protein. It has
Yes, one of the
omegas
best.
in there.
Yes.
So we eat a lot of stuff. You can have steamed veggies like cabbage and kale and all that good stuff.
Okay. Now let's move over to the American side.
I'm hungry.
No, I'm hungry. That's what I would have for dinner. So, what is the American
Breakfast.
healthy breakfast?
Bacon, egg, and cheese.
And a biscuit. Well, okay. My idea of a healthy breakfast, and this has helped me tremendously. Like I said, when I was diagnosed with diabetes, I just didn't know what to eat, because you eat something all your life, and it's hard to quit cold turkey. It's easier to quit drinking than to quit eating. Yeah. And so what one of my friends, I have a friend that's 102. That doesn't mean I'm 100, okay? We didn't go to the same high school. Let me just clarify that. But she told me, she said oatmeal. She said still cut oatmeal.
Steel cut oats.
And I ate that for 1 year and I was cured. Okay? I would put berries in there, walnuts, and apples, peaches, just cut up a peach. And I went back to the doctor. Actually, it was less than a year, within 6 months. They was like, this is amazing. And so when I went back home, I threw it all out and went and got me some bacon eggs and a biscuit. So those are, in Americanized, we think of hot cereals. And the reason why, because we're on the go. And that's something you can eat, you can make at night and eat in the morning. So it's kind of, I'm listening to the two cultures in terms of how we actually prepare our meals for a healthy life. So that's grits, eggs, protein. So those are some of the things that I was thinking about. But what I'm really trying to say is whatever your culture is, make sure you put it in the right grouping. Right. That is the most important thing, not so much whether it is from one of the islands or whether it's American style. Just make sure you have enough protein, enough iron, right? What are some others? Omega?
Well, foods that are rich in antioxidants is very important.
Right. So
foods that are rich in color, very important for us to pick those out. Beets and carrots and kale and all those foods that are rich in color.
Okay, so color. If you can't think of anything else, okay, we have an audience saying sausage. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. All right. So for those of you who want to do sausage, you can get some really healthy sausages, right? Okay.
And I think it's just important also for us to start reading our labels. So they're healthy meats, which could include some sausages, but we just really need to read our labels because invariably, again, the American diet is just full of too much sodium. And so many people develop hypertension from that.
Yes.
Men are developing kidney disease at a high rate. So we really have to read our labels and make sure that, if it's processed, that it's, low sodium and, very little chemicals or none.
Okay. Well, I'm born and bred in America, so I'm fighting for Americans here today. I'm fighting here. Miss D's not helping me, but I'm fighting here. She backing out on me, everyone.
No, I'm still here.
So you're talking about the Caribbean islands. So let's talk about European.
No, I'm talking about America. All of these foods are available in America.
No. What I mean is this is your culture and how you all eat, right? So what about other cultures other than American? Because you have European, you have Japanese, and you have
So this
Spanish.
is what I'm saying.
So
when I
I'm just
travel
saying,
to Europe, for instance, there's a wide variety of things on the table, including greens. So you can go to like, when you travel here in America, you go downstairs to breakfast. It's again bacon, eggs, grits,
Absolutely.
bagel.
Yes.
When you travel abroad, they have bacon, eggs, grit. Well, they don't have grits, but mostly like oatmeal.
Oatmeal. Yes. An
Or
oatmeal
and then they
bar,
have
something
whole
like
grains that you
Mm-hmm.
can add to the oatmeal, or fresh fruit, dried fruit, fresh vegetables. I've seen things like string beans. I've seen
For breakfast.
Yes, for
Now
breakfast.
we're talking. That sounds like brunch.
No, no. This
That,
is
that
breakfast.
sounds like American
This
brunch.
is breakfast before
Yeah.
we leave at 8 o'clock for excursions.
Really, that's
and things
amazing.
like that. Yes, so
We must go to different restaurants because
when you travel.
but when we travel, yeah. But
so.
that's okay. That's okay because that's what we're doing here today. We're trying to enlighten people and educate them. And if you never travel, now you know, oh, this is what other people are eating, and it's easy. So I just kind of wanted to kind of do like the little world tour of food here today so people will know that, and I'm still defending my American now because my mom really was the best biscuit maker that I have ever seen, and so it's just America. Again, we left the farms, came to the city, and so you got to understand our history as well, and why we're doing things at a more upscale level. Back in the day, my grandparents had 40 acres and 2 mules. They didn't just have 40 acres and a mule. We had 2 mules, so we were elitists. Okay. And so we used to go outside and pick some sweet potatoes, so we were more earthy then. And so when people start moving to the city, you don't have that land. And I know some people have their window gardens with their herbs, but we're in a fast-paced country where everything is fast, and you can't get those type of items at McDonald's, Burger King, Hardee's, or wherever you choose to go in the morning. So we're kind of, it's not that we are making this lifestyle for us. The lifestyle is made for us. So what do we do? Again, how do we combat diseases? How do we get people mentally and physically healthy? How do we get, 2 weeks ago in my community, a man had a mental health breakdown. He was running down the street with an AKA rifle. There was about 40 police officers. The bomb squad was there. They brought the dogs in. They brought in the helicopters. And we're thinking that we have just gone to war, right? We did not understand that it was just one person. And so he had a mental breakdown, and ultimately he was not hurt. They were able to talk him through it. And so he was just in his house alone, not eating. And so everything just broke down in his life. He felt hopeless.
Yeah.
And so how would you have handled that? Because I watched people talk to him and bring him back to life, and he surrendered. And so this is why it is so important that we have this mental health, because that's part of what we'll be talking about on Saturday, October the 19th, the mental health. And so, Ms. D, how would we handle people who are getting on that fast train to a mental health breakdown?
I would say prevention services. I have a daughter who lives with psychosis, and she's often in and out of events and episodes, so much to a point where once she's escalated, it takes time to bring her back from that episode. And she's in a place of instability at the time. She's unstable in her thinking, in her cognitive, and even knowing who I am at some times. So prevention is very key when it comes to sustainability with mental health, wellness, support groups, linking them with resources to ensure that they're taking medications. For those who don't like to take pills, they even have shots now that you can take that will last for a year, I believe it is, to make sure that the body and the brain is getting the medication that it needs to be stable. So prevention in that area. And I just like to pivot just a little bit. I heard you guys talk a lot about the body and the food aspect, and
Yes.
it's just as important with the mind, which you feed it, and the discipline and the consistency that it takes to have a um, a balanced diet, and our minds being stable, just as the body. So I just wanted to encourage any listeners out there, if you find yourself in a tight spot or a tough spot, I'm going to quote the gentleman named Bashar. And this is something that I'm just learning too, is the triple A formula. And the triple A stands for A. The first A is for acknowledge what you have and not what you don't have, and then accept what you have, and then allow for what happens to come next. Allow what happens to come next. So just staying in a state of prayer and gratitude are some of the ways that we can avoid certain crises.
And so, what are some of the triggers that you look for with certain people that you might know that might have some type of episode?
Right. Well, everyone has different triggers. Some of the things that may indicate that a person is going into an episode or a psychotic break is irritation is one of those things. I know sometimes with my daughter, she gets a glare in her eyes, and I know that something's not right. She's not able to give me direct eye contact. Individuals, what is it, fast talking, fast paced speech is another thing where it's something to pay attention to. Aggressive behavior is something to pay attention. And just if you see someone that looks like they're belligerent or just not, all the way there, whatever that may mean, if they're irate or things to that nature, those are usually indications that something is off and unstable, and there's an imbalance going on.
Do you believe in see something, say something?
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you see something, say something. If it's someone that you don't know, and like the gentleman walking down the street with the rifle, the AR rifle, immediately notify the police officers. Thankfully now through NAMI, they have programs where they're working very closely with law enforcement to be able to identify and support individuals who are having mental episodes and mental breaks.
Okay, and tell them what NAMI is.
NAMI is a national alliance for mental health. They are very influential in all things mental health. NAMI.org, NAMI. They have a whole ton of services and support groups. They were the ones that linked me to the CIT program, which is the program that works with law enforcement, so that if my daughter ever got arrested again, her name would come up on the dashboard and they would notify medical professionals. Yes.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so we have 1 minute left, and I'm going to give you 30 seconds, and then I'll close it out.
Yeah. So just on the vein of mental health, many Americans or all Americans talk about they have a primary care provider, a physical doctor. It is also important for all of us to have a mental health provider that we can talk to on occasion, or some of us need ongoing psychological services. So we all need to seek out those services so that we can allay some of the, as she said, prevent some of those episodes from occurring. And as a holistic provider, I just want to say it's so important for all Americans to know your numbers, know your blood pressure, know your cholesterol, know what your waist size is. know your heart rate, and know your insulin levels. And if you are aware of the parameters for those, you can actually allay many metabolic dysfunctions. Thank you so much for having me, Dr. Jones.
Oh,
was
it
an
has been a
absolute
pleasure.
Thank you,
And
Dr. Jones.
we all will be together. Again,
Yes.
guess what? One more time this week.
Yay.
Can you handle it?
On Saturday, let's go. Also, I can be reached at, I forgot to give my,
Please do.
please reach out to our website, www.travellight.org. All of our socials are on our website. And thank you again for this opportunity.
And what services do you provide?
Mental health services, recovery, restorative, and preventive services for our disenfranchised population ages 12 and up.
Okay, fantastic. And go ahead and tell them
And,
how you can be reached.
I can be reached at gootwellness.com, and we provide all things wellness, especially when it comes to getting the right nutrition, whether it be IV or vitamins and supplements into your body. And we also do water testing for those of you who would like those services. Again, thank you so much for having me.
Well, I know you guys are really pleased tonight to have all this wonderful, wonderful information on how to be a better person inside and out. And so on Saturday, October the 19th, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., we're going to have a wonderful, wonderful event. It's going to be a mental health and wellness. The location is 5380 West Mountain Drive, Stone Mountain, Georgia, 30083. We're going to have a host of panelists. We're going to also have someone that's going to talk about the physical you. And so just come on out, be well, be happy, and have such a great time. We're looking forward to seeing all of you at, again, the Stone Mountain Mental Health and Wellness event, again, this Saturday from 9 to 11. We want you to eat well. We want you to sleep well. We want you to be well. But more importantly, reach out to God because He's first and foremost. I'm Beverly Jones, the mayor of the city of Stone Mountain. You've been listening to CLTV, Caribbean Life TV, and what we've done today is what? Real talk. Thank you all so much for listening, and again, you'll see us again next week right here at the same time at 6 p.m.
Happy feelings in the air, touching people everywhere. Plenty love and everything. Listen to the people sing. I've got myself to remind me of love. My mind and my heart, I believe in love. And these happy feelings, feel that happy feeling, I'll spread them all over the world, from deep